Hey, 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 hey. Welcome back. It's really good to see you again. Or if you're new here, my name is Misty. It's really nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here. Today I'm going to read you a little story that was generated by ChatGPT. And this story, I think, is brilliant because it is brilliantly boring. Super boring. So I'm going to read what the prompt was, tell you a bit about that, and then I'm going to read you the story so that you can fall asleep. It's not terribly long, but it is extremely mundane. And I think that's pretty cozy and will hopefully be so boring that you can fall asleep easily, or just give you some really nice background noise to listen to during your day. If you like this kind of idea, you can leave a like on the video, and I would really appreciate it. So I am just going to read directly off my phone like this. Okay, so this is what I asked ChatGPT. I started a new chat, and my first prompt was, I want to read a copyright-free story for my YouTube channel. Can you write a short story that would be soothing, relaxing, and help people fall asleep? And it did give me a little story in response to that. And it was nice. It was very whimsical, very subtle, magical, but no major events. But I was like, I need something a little more boring than that. So my follow-up prompt was, this is great, but can you write another story that is designed to help people fall asleep, but less whimsical than the last one? Make it super mundane and boring. Boring. And have really random activities take place. And boy, did ChatGPT deliver. And that is the story that I'm going to read you today. It says, here's a super mundane and boring story designed to lull people to sleep through everyday activities that drift without much direction. Without much direction at all. I hope that you're super cozy as I read this to you. I'm going to read it very monotonously and very sleepy, using this sort of soft speaking. I'll try to go from ear to ear just a little bit, and I hope that you like it. Let's just do one more sip of water to make sure I can get through this without any hurdles. Okay, are you ready? You can close your eyes and you can just listen to the sound of my voice as you lull off to sleep with this super boring, mundane, sleepy story. Okay, the title is A Day at the Stationery Store. It was a Tuesday afternoon, and Ben decided it was finally time to buy new stationery. He didn't need much, just some paper, maybe a few pens, but he thought it might be nice to browse the aisles and see if anything caught his eye. The store was quiet, almost empty, as he pushed open the glass door. A small bell jingled softly overhead. Inside, the air smelled faintly of paper and ink, the kind of smell that lingered but never overwhelmed. The faint hum of the fluorescent lights buzzed quietly in the background. Ben picked up a shopping basket, though he wasn't sure that he'd need it. His first stop was to the pen aisle. There were rows and rows of pens. Blue pens, black pens, pens with fine tips, gel pens, ballpoint pens. He picked up a blue ballpoint pen and examined the packaging. It promised a smooth writing experience. He considered the claim for a moment, turning the pen over in his hand before placing it in his basket. Next, he wandered to the paper section. There were notebooks of all sizes, spiral-bound, hardcover, softcover, college-ruled, and wide-ruled. He ran his hand over the covers of several notebooks, feeling the texture of the different materials. He stopped in front of a plain lined notebook with a cardboard cover. It was simple. He liked simple. He added it to his basket. As he made his way down the next aisle, he found himself in front of the binders. Binders in every color lined the shelves, from dull gray to bright neon green. He didn't need a binder, but he picked one up anyway. He opened it, tested the rings with a click, then closed it and placed it back on the shelf. For a moment, he thought about organizing some old papers, but the idea quickly faded. He moved on to the section with the folders. There were clear plastic folders, manila folders, and folders with 2 pockets. Some had designs on them, floral patterns, geometric shapes, or motivational quotes like, "Stay organized." Ben wasn't sure he needed a folder, but after staring at a blue one for a while, he decided to place it in his basket. A little further down, he found himself in front of the sticky notes. He hadn't planned on getting any, but there were so many colors: yellow, pink, blue, green. He picked up a pack of neon yellow sticky notes and placed them in his basket. Maybe they'd be useful, or maybe they'd just sit on his desk for a while. Next, Ben wandered to the section with highlighters. He wasn't sure if he needed any highlighters, but he liked the look of a pack of pastel-colored ones. The soft colors seemed calming. He added them to his basket without much thought. He glanced at his basket. A pen, a notebook, some sticky notes, and highlighters. It wasn't much, but it felt like enough. Still, he wasn't ready to leave just yet. There was something oddly relaxing about wandering through the aisles, looking at office supplies. Ben walked over to the calculators. They came in all sizes, some with basic functions, others with scientific features he would never use. He pressed a few buttons on one of the calculators and listened to the faint click, 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 click. The screen lit up with a simple 0.00. He put it back. In the back corner of the store, Ben found a rack of calendars. It wasn't quite the time of year to buy one, but he flipped through a few anyway. There was one with pictures of cats, another with scenic landscapes. He didn't need a calendar. He had a phone for that. Still, he spent a few minutes flipping through the pages of a calendar with pictures of beaches. Finally, Ben decided he had everything he needed, though he wasn't quite sure why he had needed any of it in the first place. He made his way to the counter, where the cashier scanned each item with a slow beep. The total came to a number that felt appropriate, though Ben wasn't paying much attention. He walked out of the store, his bag rustling gently in his hand. The sun had shifted slightly lower in the sky. It was still Tuesday. There was still time in the day, though Ben wasn't sure what he would do with it. He got in his car and sat for a moment, staring out at the quiet parking lot. The day stretched on ahead of him, calm, uneventful, and full of the kind of peace that only comes from doing absolutely nothing of importance. Thank you for listening to our very short, boring, sleepy, mundane story called A Day at the Stationery Store. A day at the stationery store, with our main character Ben doing some of the most mindless, boring, simple things. I could almost picture myself there doing the same. I'm trying to practice reading more often and using my voice to do this kind of narration. So if you have any feedback for me, I would love to hear about it. If you want to hear more stories like this as well, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you